At the start of a braise, it always felt like a hard choice. To sear or not to sear? To marinate or not to marinate? Today, we do half and half, balancing roasted complexity with clean meat flavor. First, we marinate half of our beef with fish sauce, aiming for 1% salt of the combined weight of our beef. Front load salting, giving us umami for the whole dish and a light brining effect. Of course, anytime you use a wet marinade, we introduce the #1 enemy to good browning, surface moisture. But not the problem today. Hot pan with a thin layer of high spill point neutral oil, the other half goes into sear. Of course, if time permits, leave both uncovered in the fridge overnight to dry one and brine the other. Through heat, we first want to rapidly evaporate the surface moisture. Then, the surface gets to go past boiling point and start developing complex, meaty, roasted flavors via the Maillard reaction, rendering some fat and building some fond at the same time. We're using beef cheeks today for a good balance of fat, lean, and connective tissue, but use any braising joint you fancy. Once you're happy, beef comes out. Optional fat skimming if need be. We lower the heat, continue on the theme of balance, equal weight onions in. Thinly sliced, this will form our savory base, and given the sheer quantity, provide a lot of sweetness. Through gentle heat, we release some moisture, which will start deglassing our pot, lifting the fond. Then we start to evaporate said moisture, concentrating the sweetness. And to balance the sweetness, white wine vinegar, about 5% of the weight of the beef for clean acidity. This will also stop the onions from browning by lowering the pH, which is what we want for this dish. When it comes to flavor, brown doesn't always mean better, it's just louder. For every Maillard reacted beef recipe, there's always a yummy beef fur. Speaking of fur, optional and only if you have it, star anise. Not for the usual warm licorice note, but it contains a compound that does two incredible things. It enhances the perception of sweetness from the onion and suppresses the irony taste from the beef. Once the onion have softened slightly, the yin and the yang sit on top. Now, since we've not fully cooked down our onions, we know they have more moisture to give. And to minimize the dilution of flavor, we add just a small dash of water to prevent the bottom from catching. Lid on, low heat, 20 minutes of self-basting. Look at that. Nature's cooking liquid. It's the best cooking liquid. Now we fish out the star anise, somehow. Oh, found it. To now take over the dish, a few cloves of crushed garlic for more umami and sweetness. Go in now because they burn easily. Another optional ingredient, dry shiitake, just one large one, not soaked. Again, not for the flavor. It contains a compound that will multiply the umami from both the fish sauce and the beef. Treat it more like a bay leaf. Now, the necessary dilution covering about 2/3 of everything. Lid back on, move everything from time to time, low heat until tender, 2 to 3 hours. Look at that. We used a simple stew inspired by bistec and cebollado to demonstrate the principles. But the point I'm trying to make is you don't have to look at an ingredient as a single unit. You can divide and conquer however you like, solving for balance, flavor, and texture. This is beef stew with partial searing.